faith, first and foremost. I want to give all honors and praises and glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wahavaka Kodash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai, in whom I reverence and honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few, the very few brothers and sisters that are listening and that are also learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days. And I want to say Tawadi Yahweh, Tawadi Yahweh Sham, Yahweh Shai, for giving me another day to be able to minister and to teach this word and to seek you daily. Okay. This lesson is going to be a variety of topics, and Lord willing, it will be edifying. We're going to start off on James. This is James, the first chapter. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. And James was the brother of Yahweh Shai. Yes, Yahweh Shai had brothers in the truth, 2 brothers in the truth, Jude and James. And he had 2 other brothers that were not in the truth. Okay? To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting, because all the tribes, they're scattered, and they're not all so-called what, Negro. Okay, they're scattered across the earth. Okay, which is according to Deuteronomy, I believe it's 28 and 68. Okay, 64, that thou shalt serve what idols of what wood and stone. My brethren, okay, the fellow Achiam, exhortation, count it all joy. Okay, count it joy when you fall into diverse temptations. So James is letting you know, you come into this truth, it's going to be diverse. Diverse is many, various. Okay, different. So you're going to have different temptations, different things you go through in this truth. Okay. So he says, count it joy when you fall into diverse temptations. The people of the world will think about this as, no, why? Counting it joy? What? For temptation, that ain't supposed to be joyful. No, because Yahweh Shai, He deems you acceptable to go through these things. Not everybody's going through this. The people in the world, they're just suffering because they're wicked. But the hopeful elect, they're suffering for a righteous cause. They're suffering for Yahweh Shai. Always remember that. Okay, see, there's a difference between suffering because you're wicked and suffering because you're an ambassador for Yahweh Shai. Huge difference. Right? Verse 3. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Trying. So what's being tried? Your faith. You do know when you pray for more faith, you know what's going to happen. There's going to be more and more scenarios to try your faith. You can't just pray for faith and think, alright, I just got faith overnight. Therefore, Yahweh Shai will put you through scenarios for you to build up your faith. Right? If you're praying for faith, that's what's going to happen. Okay? Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. So once your faith is tried, tested, what does that work? Patience. Patience is suffering. So you become more long-suffering, which is an attribute of Yahweh Shai and the Heavenly Father, what? To be long-suffering. This is how we learn these attributes. Okay? See what else we got. 1 verse 4. But let patience have a perfect work. Okay? So you gotta let this the thing, you gotta let patience have a perfect. It tells you that in Ecclesiastes 2. Don't flee, cleave unto Yahweh Shai. Don't flee. A lot of men, they flee. Let patience have her perfect work. Let suffering work upon you. When you're suffering, you're able, it purges out what? All that old man. So if you're just fleeing any type of sign of trouble, you're just fleeing. When how are you letting patience have her perfect work? That ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Right? Key thing, perfect and entire, wanting nothing. You're not in need of anything else. You're perfected and you're entire. You're entire, whole, wanting nothing. That's how you're complete. Okay? People in the world, they're not complete. That's why they're wanting. That's why they're covetousness. Another word for wanting is covetousness. Because they ain't taking the time to get into Sophia. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh Yahushua. Okay? And there's always things, the thing with this truth, there's always something to learn. Always. The moment you think there's not, then that's the moment you what? Digress. Let patience have a perfect work. Okay? And if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh Yahushua that giveth to all men liberally. Liberally is in what? Large amounts. Generously. Okay? And upbraideth not. So when you're asking, okay, Yahushua ain't going to upbraid you. You ain't going to say, oh, this brother asked me for this. I gave him this and... No, he ain't going to upbraid you. Because that's a sign of faith. You're asking, you're making supplication. So if you're asking, you're begging. Which goes into bakwash in the Hebrew. To beg, to request. Right? And that's what Yahushua wants, because that shows what? Faith. And it shall be given him. It'll be given you, but it'll be given to you in due time. Sometimes things are coming out when we want. It comes in the time of Yahushua, when he deems fit. Certain things you may have prayed for when you first came into the truth, you may get that a month's time. Sometimes it's a week. Sometimes it may be a year. Okay? According to what you're praying for. Okay? But let him ask in faith. So that's what Yahushua requires. You ask in faith. Nothing wavering. Wavering is what? Being double-minded. Okay? You're not sure. For he that wavers is like the wave of a sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Okay? So you're likened unto the sea. Okay? It's beat in every direction. The high waves, tossed to and fro. That's how you be seen. If you don't have faith, this is why this thing is about faith. We can go into prophecies, we can go into about what Esau's going to do. But when you don't have a certain amount of faith, okay, in this truth, then you're going to be consumed by what Esau's going to do. And the things of the world. And these dead rappers. And these scoffers that are dropping dead. I'm not concerned with them. They don't matter. They're insignificant. But the reason why men are going into this, because a lot of it is diversion. A lot of it is diversion, and a lot of it is because their mind ain't in the right place. They don't have Yahushua. So when you don't have Yahushua, you're going to be worried about all these other things. Okay? Keep your eyes single. Bear me just a minute. For let not any man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord Yahushua. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So if you're double-minded, of course your prayers ain't going to be asked, because you're double-minded. You don't really believe. Alright? Let's jump to Ecclesiasticus 30. Bear me just a minute. You know, before we go to that, you know what? Ah, man. Let's go to... Yeah, let's go to Ecclesiastes 34 and 11. This is Ecclesiasticus 34 and 11. Right? I'm on the right one. 9. Start 9. A man that have travelleth knoweth many things. Why? Because different places, different cultures, they operate in different ways. Okay, so yeah, by you travelling, you're going to learn more. You're going to have much experience. Because you're going to be put in different situations. You're going to meet different people, different cultures. Right? So a man that has travelled has many experience. Okay? Have seen many things and knoweth many things. And he that have much experience will declare wisdom. So that's why a trial, you pray for faith, or Yahushua is going to put you through trials so you can gain more experience. Okay? This is what happens within this truth. Because what good is it, alright, you're teaching the words, but now a situation presents itself and you have no experience. That's why these situations are there, so what? So your experience can be built up. Because anybody can pick up the Bible I first came into truth, I was picking up the Bible, then I thought, you know what? No, there needs to be a next level where it's applied and I'm going through these particular things. It's all good. Men, they just want the knowledge. Okay, but they don't want to have to go through the necessary steps. Okay? That's just someone that wants some knowledge. It's like the black unconscious community. They want the knowledge to show off. But if you ask them a simple question, according to the scriptures, they can't answer it. They'd be umming and ahhing. Right? Because that's someone that's not so-called studied, and that's someone that has not been through the experience, but they can give you a whole bunch of knowledge on prudence and this and that. But they can't actually give you experience, and that's the most important thing. Okay? Experience. Okay? That's why all the situations that brothers have been through, it was so you could grow. You look at these situations and say, well, you know what? What did I learn from them? That's what it's for. And ultimately, it's for that time of what Jacob's trouble that shall come upon the whole earth. Right? And he that have no experience knoweth little. Okay? So if you have no experience, because the experience is what? The application of knowledge. That's what that experience is, which brings forth wisdom. And that's by trial. And sometimes, even with these experiences, sometimes you're going to fail in particular things. But you're experiencing it. You're going through it. That's the difference between those that are of the hopeful elect as well and those that are not. Okay? Anybody can talk. Speak a good game. Okay? But he that have no experience knoweth little. But he that has travelled is full of prudence, discernment. When I travelled, I saw many things. Many. Okay, and I understood more than I can express. The amount of things, if I was to tell you everything I saw, I'd be here for a very, 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 very long time. But the amount of things you see, the amount of things you go through, words can't even fully express it. Okay, I was oftentimes in danger of death. Okay, in particular scenarios. Okay, you're in danger. Okay, yet I was delivered because of these things. What? Because of what things? Wisdom. And the spirit of the Lord of those that fear the Lord shall live. See, so that, what did it begin with? The fear of Yahweh Abishai. They shall live. And sadly to say, not everybody has that fear of Yahweh Shai. For their hope is in him, so the hope for that their hope was going to be in Yahweh Shai. It wasn't going to be in this world. It wasn't going to be in Esau. It was going to be in Yahweh Shai. Right? That saveth them. Whoso feareth the Lord Yahweh shall not be afraid. So why are men afraid? Why are men afraid? Why are men always speaking about what's it? The martial law troops, when they gather you up, when they do this, because they're not right. See, you gotta understand. You reap what you sow. So if you've been deceitful all this time, you've never really believed. Of course, you're gonna be in a fearful spirit. Okay. What a man talks about. That's what his spirit is on. Okay, that's where his eye is, that's where his mind is. So if your main topic of conversation, Esau, when they come for us and when they do this and when he implements an RFID chip and this and that, that's because obviously your fear ain't obviously in Yahweh Shai. And who controls all these things? It's Yahweh Shai. So when you want to fear him, when you want to be sincere, for he is his hope. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord Yahweh Shai. That's those that are blessed. To whom doth he look? And who is his strength? So who is the hopeful elect? It's Yahweh Shai. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. You see? Through what the angels, okay, he is their mighty protection and a strong stay and a defense from heat, like a pavilion, like a covering. Okay, and a cover from the sun at noon, a preservation from the stumbling and a help from falling. So guess what? The hopeful elect have angels protecting them. It doesn't mean they don't get put in any dangerous scenarios. They still get put in dangerous scenarios, but it's to try them. Okay. He raised up the soul and lighteth the eyes. He giveth health and life and blessing. Okay. So you always got to remember that yes, Yahweh Shai is there. Okay. And this main thing is what? About experience as well. And you're going to go through a lot of things. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 23. Come on now. Don't want to rush with this. Spare me just a minute. Second Corinthians 11. This 2 Corinthians 11. Okay. And in this truth, you need to find the right balance as well within the truth, especially if you're a fervent brother. Find the right balance for yourself. 2 Corinthians, where is it? 11 and I believe it's 22. Yes, it's 22. And it says, let's go to 23. Are they ministers of Mashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more in labors, more abundant. Paul, he was very, very abundant. He was fervent, okay? Passionate about this truth. And you have to be passionate about this truth, okay? I am more in labors, more abundant in stripes. Okay, stripes is what? Beatings. Okay. Above measure. In prisons, even locked up. More frequent in deaths oft. So the prophets, they be put to death and they come back in another lifetime. Okay, of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one. By his own people, Jews. Okay. Our own people, because guess what? Most of our opposition, as mad as it may sound, yeah, we know Esau comes up against us, but guess what? Most of our opposition is our own people, and that's what Yahushua was showing you in the gospel. How do you know that? Because when you read the gospel, who is it always that was coming up against Yahushua and the disciples? It was other Jews, wicked Jews, and this is what some are not really teaching you. The main opposition was our own people that was set up by Esau. That was the main opposition as well. Okay? Because when you read this Bible, it's a war, yes, between good and evil, Esau and Jacob. But you also got the wicked of our people, which would be known as tares. You got the wheat that are the righteous, and you got the tares. And the tares would be what? Those that what Esau set up to come up against men of the Lord. Okay? So this is what 2 Corinthians 11. And so he even got beat by what? Jews. Thrice I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Whew. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. All these things happened to him. Shipwreck, he was stranded. Even brothers in this truth, there be times you may be stranded. You can't get to one location to another. Right? And Paul was traveling. That's why he was on the ship. Because he was traveling to what? These different churches. Right? A night and a day I have been in the deep. What's the deep? The sea. And can you imagine how them seas were? Must have been rough. Okay. The seas are rough. Massive waves, over 100 feet waves and so forth. The Leviathan back then. Okay. In journeyings. So he was constantly traveling. It's the same for this still acquaintance of the brothers that constantly travel. Often in perils of waters. Okay, because back then, yes, you also had pirates back then as well. Okay, looters as well. In perils of robbers, that's the spirit. In perils of robbers. Okay, and the robbers would be known as what? Bandits. Okay, in perils of robbers. In perils by mine own countrymen. Okay, his own countrymen, where he lived. It's the same even in this trip. Where you even live, okay? You may have a neighbor you can't stand or whatever, or someone in your neighborhood, okay? In perils by the heathen, okay? These other nations, okay? You may go to an off license. This guy's following you around when you're buying something. Okay, the security guard, the heathen security guard, in perils in the city. You may say, hurry up and buy. In perils in the city. So what's perils? Dangers. Caution. Okay, even within the city. That's why the scriptures tell us in Matthew 10 and 16. I send you therefore as what? Sheep amongst wolves. Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Okay, in perils in the wilderness.